I've said this phrase so many times that you could play a drinking game out of it. Take a shot if you heard me say that Crash Bandicoot is one of my beloved and cherished video game series of all time. Because it is. I believe I was born at the right year and started to play video games at the right time. It led me to be introduced to my very first video game I got to experience being Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back. And since then, I've had many great and fond memories with this series. From its highs and lows, the success and struggles, the fun kart races, to the bloody titans, but you get where I'm going with this. I enjoyed anything that was Crash Bandicoot related, and it was one of those 3D platformers that managed to have survived over the years, while Jak and Daxter and Sly Cooper were unfortunately left behind the dust. And while as a kid, I did love Crash Bandicoot, but looking back nowadays with a more mature brain, I can see and understand that the PlayStation 2 video games about Crash Bandicoot, for the most part, flopped. Here's a lesson to you all, never review video games because you will be left hating every childhood game you've played. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Finding Nemo. Post Naughty Dog, Crash Bandicoot was really treated like an orphan going from one developer to another. Not that it was bad, but there was no long-term goal for the series, and the PlayStation 2 collection really was a mess of things. Wrath of Cortex had a huge overload of vehicles, Nitro Kart was realistically CTR 2.0, Twinsanity, while the best out of the bunch, but it was a completely random game and quite buggy at times. Tag Team Racing was just a terrible idea from the word go, don't get me started. And then you had this weird concept of Crash interacting with Titans in a beat-em-up genre while he screams out pancakes. And it's a genre that doesn't mash well with Crash. And yeah, you all do have your opinions about how you feel about those games, and I'm not trying to cause any arguments, but you can't really ignore the fact that the Crash Bandicoot games on the PlayStation 2 never lived up to the hype and success that the PlayStation 1 trilogy had. A simple 3D platformer where you go from A to B, defeating evil, and saving the world thanks to the help from your close friends. Crash Mind Over Mutants was released in 2008 and at the time was the final Crash game before the Crash Bandicoot series went into hiatus. It's not that Crash was gone entirely, he was just left to the sidelines while many other video games came by and were more universally praised. From your Skyrims to your GTA 5s and even Naughty Dog's Uncharted series and The Last of Us series. It seems that while other video game titles have gone popular back then, Crash Bandicoot was waiting, chilling in the background until just the right moment came around. It was also around the time that Activision bought the IPs of not only Crash, but Spyro as well. I don't know exactly all the details surrounding the purchase, but that's pretty much what I know. And now, here's something that I probably know isn't true, but I just find it to be a funny coincidence. In May of 2016, Uncharted 4 A Thief's End was released, and spoilers if you haven't played it already, you see Nathan Drake with Elena playing some good old Crash Bandicoot game in a bolder level, providing some good nostalgia feelings for just a brief moment. Meanwhile, a month later at E3 2016, the announcement was made that Crash Bandicoot would have a remake from the ground up with the PlayStation 1 trilogy. It seemed like from my perspective that after seeing Crash in an Uncharted game, many gamers were like, oh yeah, I remember Crash Bandicoot, god that was a lot of fun. Why isn't there a new Crash game? And so, with the overwhelming support from fans and critics alike, Activision made the call to bring Crash Bandicoot back into the video gaming industry. I don't know if all this is true or not, but it's interesting to think about. And in 2017, Crash Bandicoot The Insane Trilogy was out in stores, and man, what a great video game. A trilogy that was handled carefully by Vicarious Visions, and this was the foot on the ground stating that Crash Bandicoot isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And indeed that quote was the truth, as in 2019, Crash Bandicoot would return with another remake in CTR Nitro Fueled. Another banger of a video game with a solid amount of replay value and cool unlockables to witness from Nitro Kart and even tag team racing as well. Already this is looking to be one hell of a grand time seeing the beloved Bandicoot in modern gaming. But there comes a time where Activision has to stop relying on nostalgia to make way for the future. And after seeing Future Tense, a completely new level with the Insane Trilogy, sparks some hope with the franchise on original new content. This brings us to the next Crash game in Crash 4, It's About Time. A good video game I enjoyed playing on a casual basis, but 100%ing the game can feel overwhelming, and the difficulty the game can bring to you is often going from a nice challenge to Jesus fucking Christ, just make it to the end already. There was also a phone game called Crash on the Run. It's an alright phone game. I did manage to review that game ages ago if you wish to check it out. Nothing too fancy, it's just something to pass the time while you're taking a massive dump in the toilet. And after the release, and as of the date of this video, one more Crash Bandicoot game was released in Crash Team Rumble. I haven't played that game in a long time since I review it, so here's your explanation in a nutshell. There wasn't much marketing for this game before release, and it ended up being just another one of those online competitive multiplayer games. It's nothing special in my eyes, and it wasn't a game for me personally. Since then, there has been no other Crash Bandicoot games, nor any future Crash games being in the works or in discussion. I heard a rumor about a possible Crash and Spyro crossover video game, but that apparently got cancelled. As the video title states on the possible downfall of Crash Bandicoot and who is the one that should be blamed for this, there is one group I can think of that really hurted the momentum of Crash himself. No, it's not the video games, and no, it's not the fans. It's Activision. You see, Activision always had a big expectation for their video games to sell well. Hell, why do you think Call of Duty keeps getting released year after year? It's because they make a lot of money out of it. They drain and milk out as much as they can, and when it's all said and done, it's time to move on to the next one, and the cycle just continues forward. I like to think Activision saw Crash Bandicoot as a money tactic to develop the remakes to obtain as much money as they could. As of this recording, the Insane Trilogy sold 20 million units, and Nitro Fueled sold 10 million units. Crash 4 It's About Time unfortunately had it rough with selling 5 million units, and as for Crash Team Rumble, only a massive, whopping, extraordinary amount is absolutely unknown. I have no idea how many units Crash Team Rumble sold. Even trying to research it online was no good. So if anybody has the exact number, feel free to share it in the comment section below. But regardless, this was probably around the time that Activision said to themselves, oh well, we did what we could, so let's move on to other projects. Like Modern Warfare 3. And that's such a shitty way to think about when it comes to the business practices. Crash Bandicoot always had a loyal fanbase, and hearing that no other Crash games are getting developed anytime soon is just heartbreaking to hear. But on the other hand, seeing the sales slowly drop since the release of Insane Trilogy got me questioning, does modern gaming need Crash Bandicoot? When I thought about it for a bit, nothing really lasts forever. And plus, you have a massive library of Crash Bandicoot games out there, and one would think that a PlayStation 2 collection from Wrath of Cortex to Mind Over Mutants would get a re-release on modern gaming systems, kinda similar to how Mortal Kombat is doing with their arcade versions. But then, after thinking it over, I said to myself that, yeah, modern gaming does need some Crash Bandicoot. If Mario can keep appearing once in a while, then so can Crash. But all Activision has to do is sell the bloody franchise over to somebody else. But however, that doesn't seem to be the case, which does suck that the last recent memory of Crash Bandicoot is based on online competition and microtransactions. If only Crash Bandicoot can get at least one more game to really send the fans home filled with joy, and for the series to ride off to the sunset, then I'll be one happy chunky boy. But for now, it looks like Crash Bandicoot is back over to the sidelines until he is given the green light once again. But anyways, that's going to wrap up this video. I thank you all so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to leave a like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. My name is Justin Hurst, telling you to keep calm and keep playing video games.